Charlotte is consistently ranked as one of the best places to live in the United States by reputable sources including U.S. News and World Report, Niche.com, and Livability.com. These studies indicated that a solid job market, excellent education, mild weather, and low cost of living add up to a high quality of life for residents. However, the reasons to live in Charlotte may not be for everyone. Stick around as we unveil the highs and the lows of calling Charlotte home. And guys, do us a favor. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, so please help us out and hit that like and subscribe button so you are notified each and every week when we put out a new video. So now let's dive into the pros and cons of Queen City living.
So the cost of living in Charlotte can be considered a pro or a con depending on where you're moving from. Charlotte has become increasingly more expensive over the last few years, to say the least. Charlotte is currently 3.5% higher than the national average, which is actually up from 1.5% last year. Charlotte residents are seeing the biggest increases in food, housing, and transportation. The Charlotte area has continued to grow rapidly, and this population growth has created a persistent and strong demand for housing. Combined with a lack of supply and higher interest rates, home prices in the Charlotte and surrounding areas are continuing to rise. Now, although people are relocating here from every state in the US, there's 3 states that account for nearly 30% of our inflow into North Carolina from out of state. California makes up nearly 14%. Florida comes in at about 9.5%, and of course we can't forget about New York, which accounts for just over 7% of our population growth. So when you compare the overall cost of living and the cost of housing in these larger cities, Charlotte is still significantly more affordable. So if you're looking at Charlotte versus Los Angeles area, the cost of living is actually 53% less overall. You're gonna find the cost of housing is 63% less, and transportation is actually 24% less. Groceries, 10% less. And let's not forget about gas prices, you guys. We were just out visiting Heather's family in California at the end of the summer. Prices of gas were nearly double of what we're used to here in Charlotte. So when you're comparing Charlotte to New York City, the overall cost of living is 133% less. The cost of housing is 82% less, and residents in New York City also pay nearly 20% more for groceries and a whopping 17% more for transportation. So when comparing Charlotte to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the overall cost of living is 33% lower, with housing being 44% lower. Groceries are about the same, and transportation's about 8% less or so in Charlotte. So when considering making a move to Charlotte and comparing the cost of living to these smaller mid-sized towns, Charlotte might cost a bit more than the average, but when taking the Pepsi challenge against other major cities and metropolitans in the country, Charlotte is definitely much more affordable.
Charlotte is consistently showing up in all different kinds of news articles, being ranked as a great place to call home. Most recently, it's been called one of the nation's hottest job markets, according to the Wall Street Journal. Charlotte ranks number 8 on its list of large metro cities. These rankings are based on 5 factors: the unemployment rate, labor force participation rate, changes to employment levels and the size of the labor force, and of course, wages. Charlotte also ranks number 9 out of 150 metro areas by U.S. News as one of the best places for jobs for young professionals. These rankings were based on job market, desirability, and affordability. The unemployment rate in Charlotte also remains lower than the national average, closing the year at 3.3%. The national average at the end of 2023 was 3.7%. The city's job market is also expected to continue to grow in the coming years as Charlotte attracts new businesses and new residents. Despite being the second largest financial hub in the country, Charlotte is not completely composed of bankers. In fact, it has a good mix of diversity in its economy, with a strong healthcare sector that rivals its financial industry. Atrium Health and Novant Health are 2 of the largest employers in the area. They provide tens of thousands of jobs in hospitals, medical centers, pharmacies, labs, and physicians' offices. Bank of America is the largest Fortune 500 company we have here in the Charlotte region, but there are others, including Lowe's, Compass Group, Honeywell, Duke Energy, Nucor, Truist Financial, and Sonic Automotive. We also have American Airlines, Wells Fargo, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School System, and the city, state, and county and federal governments. Looking ahead, the North Carolina job market is projected to add an additional 300,000 new jobs by the end of 2028. And most of those jobs will be here in Charlotte or in the state's capital of Raleigh. So guys, we just wanted to remind you that as much as we love doing these videos, what we love even more is helping you with your real estate needs. So please reach out, call, text, email. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to help you make that move to North or South Carolina.
So one of the biggest draws to Charlotte is our fantastic location. Charlotte is nestled about halfway in between the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains and some of the most amazing beaches. This gives residents access to so many incredible destinations within just a couple 2-3 hour drives. If you love the mountains and all the activities that they provide, well then you're in luck. We have lots of different mountain towns to choose from, all within about 2 hours from the Charlotte area. Asheville is an amazing mountain town and has so many things to offer. You'll find camping, mountain biking, hiking, whitewater rafting, as well as some fantastic shopping and breweries, of course, to explore. And if you enjoy skiing and snowboarding, Boone and Blowing Rock offer 2 great ski resorts close by. And when I say great, I'm not comparing them to the amazing powder that you can get out in the Rockies, but at least you can get up the mountain towns fairly easily from Charlotte and make a couple turns. You're also going to find plenty of snow tubing, hiking, camping, fishing, mountain biking, even zip lining for all you adventure seekers. These cute little mountain towns also have a good bit of boutique shops and some really amazing restaurants as well. So if you're more of a beach person, then you are going to love being so close to a variety of beautiful beaches on the Atlantic Ocean. One of our favorite weekend destinations is Charleston, South Carolina. This is a super popular getaway for many Charlotteans. Charleston has some great history, amazing restaurants, beautiful southern architecture, and great beaches, including places like Isle of Palms and Folly Beach. If you're looking for a bit more of a family-friendly option, Myrtle Beach has tons of hotels with water parks. Plus, you'll find amusement rides, putt-putt golf, and tons of entertainment shows for all ages. If you like a little bit more slower pace with the relaxing beach and fewer hotels, then Hilton Head Island in South Carolina is going to be your jam.
One of the things my kids love most about Hilton Head Island is that the entire island is covered with bike paths. So you can bike down to the beach, you can bike to shopping, you can bike to restaurants. And the waves there, for the most part, are really calm, and you can find a lot of sea life. So it's one of my kids' favorite places to go.
Charlotte's prime central location in the middle of the state offers residents a plethora of weekend getaways. We didn't even mention Savannah, which is only an easy 4-hour drive, or Nashville, Tennessee, if you want to get your country music fix on. That's around a 6-hour drive through the gorgeous Smoky and Blue Ridge Mountains. So whether you crave the serene ambiance of the mountains with hiking trails and panoramic views, or you prefer to dip your toes in the sand and feel that nice breeze at the beach, Charlotte provides that perfect launching pad for a variety of those amazing experiences.
So another big pro of the Charlotte area is access to healthcare. Charlotte is home to world-class medical facilities, including Atrium Health and Novant Health Presbyterian Medical Center. These institutions are equipped with cutting-edge technology and a team of skilled healthcare professionals ensuring top-tier medical care here in Charlotte. Atrium Health is one of the largest healthcare systems in the region. They operate several hospitals, including Carolinas Medical Center and Levine Children's Hospital. These facilities provide a wide range of medical services and are equipped with state-of-the-art technology. Carolinas Medical Center is nationally ranked in 8 pediatric specialties. It's ranked as highly performing in 4 adult specialties and 14 different procedures and conditions. It's also considered a top-notch teaching hospital. And we also have another prominent healthcare provider, Novant Health. They operate Novant Health Presbyterian Medical Center and a variety of other medical facilities in the Charlotte area. Novant Health is a not-for-profit healthcare system consisting of 16 different medical centers and more than 1,900 physicians in 800 different locations. This offers a network of comprehensive healthcare services, including specialized care in various fields. Charlotte also has a variety of specialized healthcare centers, including freestanding ERs, a ton of urgent cares that are scattered throughout the city. They even have urgent cares that are dedicated strictly to children. You can also find specialty centers like Levine Cancer Institute, Sanger Heart and Vascular Institute, and the Neuroscience Institute. This shows the city's commitment to providing advanced quality healthcare for all of its residents. Whatever your medical needs may be, you are bound to find quality health care here in Charlotte. And if for some reason you can't find what you need in the Charlotte area, you're only about 2.5 hours to Duke University Medical Center.
So now let's talk about schools and education. With nearly 145,000 students enrolled through 180 different schools, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, which we'll refer to as CMS, is the second largest school district in North Carolina and the 18th largest public school district in the nation. The district has 31 high schools, 30 middle schools, 8 pre-K, and 91 elementary schools. It also has 3 alternative schools and 5 schools with 6 to 12 or K to 12 configurations. The district also offers 9 different magnet programs in 45 magnet schools. Looking for an award-winning school, Charlotte has a ton of them throughout the city. There's actually 43 elementary schools, 16 middle schools, and 24 high schools that have all scored above an 8 or better by greatschools.org. Schools like Northwest School of the Arts, Providence High School, Audrey Kell High School, and Hawthorne High School all received the College Success Award. This award recognizes schools that do an exceptional job at preparing students for college. According to niche.com, CMS has an overall rating of a B+. They also have recognized CMS as one of the top 10 best school districts for athletes in North Carolina. CMS offers diverse educational programs such as middle college, dual enrollment programs, technical academies, language academies, and other specialized programs. This allows parents to choose the best fit for their child's interest and learning style. Some schools within the district consistently rank as top schools in the state, such as Audrey Kell High School, which ranks #1 in the school district and #10 in all of North Carolina. The CMS school district places strong emphasis on preparing students for college and career success. This includes partnerships with local businesses and colleges, offering students valuable resources for future endeavors. Okay, so by no means we're saying that CMS is perfect. In fact, there's many families in Mecklenburg schools that will say the exact opposite. Again, a lot of this is going to be dependent on the location of the schools in Charlotte Metro, but all that being said, let's discuss a few more of the cons. Despite all the strengths, the school system definitely faces numerous challenges related to achievement disparities. They can be noticeable differences in academic performance between schools, raising concerns about equity and access to quality education. With well over 100 people a day moving to Charlotte, some of these schools have experienced issues related to overcrowding, leading to larger class sizes, potential challenges in maintaining an optimal learning environment. This can definitely impact the overall educational experience for students. In fact, many families still decide to pay big dollars to enroll their students into private schools in the area, even when their kids are slated for a public school with a 9 or even a 10 rating, simply because of that lower student-teacher ratio. So like every other larger school district in a city with a ton of growth, CMS presents a mix of strengths and challenges. It's essential to weigh all the pros and cons based on your child's unique needs for your family and your priorities.
So let's talk about college affordability. North Carolina stands out for its many pros in the areas of college affordability compared to the rest of the United States. According to Forbes, in-state tuition at public 2-year colleges here in North Carolina were the second lowest in the country. What's more, tuition at public 4-year colleges clocked in at just over $7,000, which makes it one of the lowest rates in the nation. The state is home to a range of institutions, from community colleges to renowned universities, offering diverse educational opportunities at various price points. With tuition costs often being below the national average, North Carolina provides an attractive landscape for students seeking quality education without the burden of tremendous expenses. Additionally, the state's commitment to financial aid programs and initiatives such as the North Carolina Promise further eases the financial strain on students and families. The dedication to making higher education accessible contributes to North Carolina's reputation as a more affordable option, fostering an environment where individuals can pursue their academic goals. So if you're moving to Charlotte with a family in tow, in-state college tuition is definitely a perk that can't be overstated. Weather can be a pro or a con, depending on your personal preference and where you're moving from. While living in Charlotte, you'll get to experience all 4 seasons. Now, sometimes you'll get all 4 of those seasons in one day. It is not uncommon for our temperature to swing 30 degrees in either direction in the very same day. So make sure you check the weather before heading out in the morning, because you may want to grab a coat. But for the most part, our temperatures tend to be mild and you can enjoy the outdoors year-round. We typically have hot and humid summers, warm falls and springs, and cool winters. Our summer temperatures can range anywhere from the 80s to the upper 90s, and on occasion they can hit lower hundreds, but that is rare. We also get frequent thunderstorms in the summertime. Now, our spring and fall temperatures are absolutely beautiful. There's very low humidity and they average around the 70s. Fall is one of our favorite times of year. Temperatures are mild and the leaves are changing and the colors are absolutely beautiful. You'll find all kinds of reds and yellows and oranges. Millions of people flock to North Carolina every year to see the fall leaves. It's a perfect time to enjoy a hike in the gorgeous Blue Ridge Mountains, which are only a 2-hour drive from the Charlotte area. Our winters tend to be mild, although this year it was freezing, with temperatures rarely dropping below freezing, with the exception of this year. Snowfall in Charlotte is definitely infrequent, and so far this year we haven't gotten any. But when it does snow in Charlotte, watch out, because these stores will be completely empty and the entire town will shut down. We don't really have the infrastructure to send out snowplows and clean the streets, so be prepared to not be able to go anywhere for 2 days, even with an inch of snow on the ground.
So now let's talk about sports and entertainment. You're never going to get bored in Charlotte. There is always something for everyone to do and explore and enjoy. If you like going out, then there's no shortage of dining, cultural, and entertainment options galore. If you love sports, there's almost always going to be a game available for you to catch in Charlotte. Charlotte has 3 professional teams in soccer, basketball, and football. Charlotte's soccer team is called the Charlotte Football Club. We're also home to the NBA Charlotte Hornets. And for all you NFL lovers or fantasy football lovers, we have the Carolina Panthers.
That are doing so great this year.
That's right. And if baseball is your jam, then don't worry. We have an awesome minor league team called the Charlotte Knights. One of the best minor league stadiums in the entire country, located right in the heart of Uptown, surrounded by a beautiful modern high-rises as a backdrop. And if you're a hockey enthusiast, then we've also got you covered, because you can check out the Charlotte Checkers, which is our minor league hockey team that just actually won the national championship a few years back. Or if you like NHL, you can take a stroll down the road to Raleigh and enjoy a game at the Carolina Hurricanes, who have always been a competitive hockey team and are always in the hunt for the playoffs. If you love to go golfing, then Charlotte is the perfect place to be. You're going to find tons of public and semi-private courses throughout the Charlotte metro. We have way too many of the golf courses to list here, so just keep an eye out for another video coming soon about all of the fantastic country club neighborhoods in the Charlotte metro. We also have several golf tournaments here, including the PGA Championship, that are held throughout the city, giving you plenty of exposure to different professional tours. If you're a race fan, then Charlotte is definitely the place for you. From the Charlotte Motor Speedway and Concord to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Uptown Charlotte. Anytime you hear the word NASCAR, most race fans immediately think of Charlotte. And let's not forget about the one-of-a-kind U.S. National Whitewater Center, the Discovery Place, or North Carolina's premier amusement park, Carowinds, with fantastic roller coasters and a massive water park to enjoy in the summertime. Mecklenburg County, which is where Charlotte is located, is home to more than 230 parks on 12,000 acres of parkland. There's also 56 miles of developed trails that are part of the Mecklenburg County Greenway system. No matter where you are in the city, it's super easy to find a park or a trail to get some exercise and fresh air.
All right, so let's move on to some of the cons of living in Charlotte. We can't just talk about all the great things about Charlotte. We have to give you a truthful rundown of what is going on here. So we're gonna start with my number 1 most hated things, and that's mosquitoes and bugs. Charlotte has one of the worst mosquito problems in the US, and I'm sure that you guys can all agree that mosquitoes are the number 1 most annoying pests on the planet. They can ruin any outdoor gathering in a matter of minutes. They can be so bad that using your outdoor spaces can become impossible in the summertime. According to Orkin, there is more than 60 different known species of mosquitoes here in Charlotte. Some of the worst include the Asian tiger mosquito, which sounds very scary, the eastern salt marsh mosquito, and the northern house mosquito. And to top it all off, these annoying insects can carry a whole host of diseases. And we've actually had experience with that. We came back from Dominican and Doug was really sick with mosquito virus. And then let's move on to a bug we have here that's even worse than mosquitoes. If you've ever visited anywhere in the South, you've likely heard or seen palmetto bugs. These winged creatures infest Charlotte homes during the cooler months, causing all kinds of problems like asthma and allergies. Palmetto bug isn't actually a scientific term. It's actually a nickname for the giant smoky brown and American cockroaches. These cockroach species can grow up to 3 inches long and are usually found in the south, and they tend to nest in palmetto bushes and palm trees. When the temperatures drop, they're known to take shelter. And once they come inside the house, they tend to lay hundreds of eggs in things like cabinets, dresser drawers, and even clothing. They are absolutely disgusting. And they're so big that you don't even want to step on them. And sometimes when you go to step on them, these things fly.
Now let's talk about traffic. Traffic in Charlotte has become unbelievable over the last few years, especially with the fact that we have nearly 150 people a day moving to Charlotte. It's become a very frustrating part of our everyday life for local residents. There are times we actually can't even get out of our neighborhood because of the long chain of cars going by during the rush hours. So North Carolina Department of Transportation has a lot of large projects underway, hoping to reduce some of the congestion on the 485 Beltway and also on I-77. Everywhere you look around here, there's construction going on. On the highways, they're adding on-ramps, they're adding off-ramps, and even express lanes in certain spots, otherwise known as toll roads.
And by the way, don't forget to pay your tolls, because what could be $1 will then turn into $35.
That's right. So in my experience, these toll roads can be very, very expensive for a short distance, and they're not really being utilized very well. Probably because people don't want to pay that much to drive 3 miles. Charlotte transportation leaders are actually saying that this traffic congestion problem is going to be here for a long time. Could take years to improve, and it's going to be a very painful process in the meantime. I guess it's just one of those things that becomes part of everyday life when you live in or near a booming city like Charlotte. It's definitely a trade-off though, because we love having all the amenities and the restaurants, wine bars, breweries, and the fun entertainment districts close by. It's just become so hard to get places, and it just takes so much longer. And not only is there a ton of traffic and congestion, but we also have terrible drivers here in North Carolina. In fact, a new study was actually done, I just found, that came out by LendingTree. They examine data from across the country and they make this list. It includes states with the most driving incidents. It includes things like DUI, speeding tickets, and other citations. And North Carolina came in at number 5. And on that list, South Carolina was actually number 8, right across the border. And that doesn't surprise me one bit. I honestly try to avoid the roads during rush hour at all costs. And we just try to get around during the certain hours of the day whenever possible.
And of course, this is relative depending on where you're coming from. So if you're used to traffic in LA, it's nothing like that. If you're coming from New York City, we have way less traffic than New York City. So for those of us that have lived here a long time, it's crazy and we've seen such an increase in traffic. But if you're coming from a really busy city, you're still not going to experience traffic here like you do there. Another con of living in the Charlotte area is their lack of public transportation. Although Charlotte does have a bus system, it was recently ranked by Money Magazine as one of the worst cities in the US if you rely on public transportation, which is definitely a negative for any of you moving here without a vehicle. The Charlotte Area Transit System, we call CATS, already operates the buses, the light rail, and we have a streetcar in the uptown Charlotte area. They're now testing a new alternative mode of transportation for those without cars, and this is called micro transit. This will allow passengers to request a pickup or a drop-off that can connect them to existing transit lines. This concept is similar to the ride-sharing apps like Uber or Lyft, but it's operated by the Public Transit Authority, so it's going to be quite a bit less expensive. They also have proposed an expansion of the light rail system to the South Charlotte area, which would be huge and would cut down on a lot of the traffic problems we have. They're also exploring another really exciting transit project, which is called the new Silver Line Light Rail, which would link the Matthews and South Charlotte area to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. They're also looking at redesigning the bus terminal in Uptown so that it can be expanded.
So crime is another one of those topics that surprised us a little bit. In general, we feel pretty safe living in the Charlotte area, especially where we live down in South Charlotte. But running through the statistics of Charlotte as a whole, We were really surprised just to see how big of a problem the crime is in the Charlotte metro area. So according to Charlotte Metro Police Department, CMPD, overall crime is up 11% compared to this time last year, which is crazy. That spike is being driven by a 14% property crime increase, which is fairly expected in a challenging economy. Another statistic that was fairly surprising is that kids and teenagers are committing more of these crimes than they were last year, especially when it comes to car theft. The police department stated that this TikTok challenge came out in 2023, encouraging the theft of Hyundai and Kia vehicles is partly to blame. These vehicles are targeted at an alarming rate of up to 840% more from this time last year, with 70% of those arrests being kids or teenagers. That is just absolutely bananas to me. One thing to note is that the overall crime in Charlotte is much higher than the national average, but it is important to remember that most crime, particularly violent crime, is confined to a handful of areas and neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods in Charlotte have a crime rate that's 500% higher than the Charlotte average. I think that's pretty bananas as well. So in Charlotte, you have a 1 in 29 chance of becoming a victim of property crime, and you've got 1 in 140 chance of being a victim of a violent crime. This is significantly higher than the national average. AreaVibes.com actually gives Charlotte an F for crime rates, stating that the recent crime rate in Charlotte is 77% higher than the national average. Niche.com actually gives Charlotte a C for crime, so our grades kind of vary a bit depending on where you look. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. BestPlaces.net even has us rated well below New York City for both violent crime and property crime, which I found pretty surprising. It is important to recognize that this doesn't imply to the entire city being unsafe. There's many safe neighborhoods in Charlotte with crime rates well below the national average. As with any urban area, there's going to be neighborhoods in Charlotte with varying levels of safety. However, Charlotte does rank among the bottom 10% of all U.S. cities reporting violent crime. All that being said, violent crime is actually still down from last year, so we are trending in the right direction. Common theft and motor vehicle theft are much higher than the national average, but coincidentally, burglary, breaking and entering here in Charlotte are lower than the national average. I wouldn't actually be surprised if this is because the people in the South love their guns. We've got lots of guns down here. So burglars are maybe thinking twice before kicking in the doors or windows down here in the Queen City. So that's fairly reassuring.
And we always recommend to our clients before making a move to a certain area or neighborhood to check crimemapping.com. It'll give you a good idea on what kind of things are going on in that particular neighborhood or area. All right, guys, well, that's all we have for you today. We hope you found this information useful. And again, we are local realtors here in North and South Carolina. And if we can help you with anything Charlotte related, please feel free to reach out. Call, text, email, however you want to get a hold of us. The phone number is listed right below, and we would love to help you. So until the next time, we'll catch you later.